Hello to the new ABC, our show where we give you weekly an update on what was happening in our exciting world of a startup, a global startup, where we are trying to help people with the life skills in order to succeed. What I call these days the crazy times, and if I explain it in this way, people immediately understand what I mean, so that makes it easy. So, and at the same time, Rotana just mentioned to me that we have a small reason to celebrate because it's already our 10th show which we're doing. So, who would have guessed that?
Yeah. Really, only 1 month or 2 months that we are doing this weekly show, so that's a milestone to celebrate, Arnold.
Yeah, absolutely, really good. But we love it, so that's why we continue doing it, and we receive good feedback around it, and people love it. So, that's good. We like it, and the people like it. So, for the moment, we still will continue. So, let's fast forward to our question of this week: which life skills the startup scene need most? Well, why did we put up that question? Obviously, there were a lot of meetups this week, which I attended here in Budapest, and really excited. But the most one was last night, where I went to call it a pitching event, where something like, I think 15 startups or something like it, they pitched their ideas, and they all had 2 minutes. And there was only one who I knew, and the rest I didn't know. And what made it really clear, so why this question, it made me really clear that in order to communicate with an audience or prospects or customers or just your friends, you really have to understand that you have so much knowledge and so much understanding about what you do that it tend to be very difficult to explain it to someone who has no clue what you do.
Yeah.
So imagine that we're talking with someone about the new ABC and he never heard about it. He doesn't know what it is, and whatever. So that puts specific demands on how you explain.
Sure.
And that is, it's also empathy. It is also communicating and making sure that your audience understands what you mean, and that you're not only broadcasting, but at the same time that you're sensing like, hey, do they understand what I mean or not? But also it's like in communicating using language which is easy and simple to understand, and what we are trying, Rotana, the last few weeks, not to use any jargon or specific terminology which is used in the learning world. Because, for instance, yesterday I had a couple of conversations and I talked with people and say, we're not doing a MOOC, or the MOOC's this and the MOOC that, and they're all looking like, MOOCs?
Yeah, so keep it simple. Yeah.
Really important. And some of the folks really, and I assume that some of them were also CEOs or they were investors, and they were still looking at me, a MOOC? MOOC? So it's really important for anyone, I would say, whether you're an expert or specialist and you talk to someone about your area, to someone who doesn't have as much experience and knowledge, or whether you're a startup or whether you're a big company, you talk with your prospects, whatever, is that really, it sounds like so, but you have to stand in the shoes of the other person.
Yeah, that's it. Explain it like grandmother,
Absolutely, and that is really, I think, one of the most crucial skills. So the crucial skills where we're today mentioning, it's about communicating. So 2 ways, make sure no jargon, keep it simple, but at the same time, I need to check whether the other person understands what I'm saying. So, for instance, when I last night used the word MOOC, I could see by their facial expression they don't know. But most people don't have the courage to say I don't know, because they don't want to look stupid. So I looked at their expression and I said, do you know what a MOOC is? And then they said no. So I invited them to say I don't know.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
It's also about sensing. It's also about how does that communication work. So that is really critical. So that's something which really popped out for me this week. So let's move on to some stuff which we've been working on, Rotana, this week. Especially you've been very busy in building an audience for our webinar series, which starts tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, on climate change review, and Mukesh Gupta, one of our contributor in the New Worker community, he has done the learning and coaching program too during 6 weeks, and now he will do the webinar review tomorrow on this topic in the context of the COP21. Can you say more about that, because it will be tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. CET?
Yeah, even while using the word COP, I realized that we are we're using jargon, and we're using words which not everybody understands. But what we're really trying to do is to help people to understand that one of the most important things which are happening today in our society, like climate change, that we just try to explain it in a simple way. What is it about, and is it something only for governments, and especially, what does it mean to me? What does it mean to my behavior, and how does it change? And how does it maybe even impact my work? So that is especially what we try to do. Although we have a short timing, but it is, I think, by far the most important event by the end of this year globally. So it's really important that our people know at least a little bit about what it is and why it's important to us.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the main global challenge, and how you can see the big picture, and if it's possible, how you can address that with a possible solution that you can co-create with different teams or networks, simple as that, organization.
Yeah, well, it's clear that each and every one of us should take action, and not as individuals, but also as groups, as businesses, as companies, because it's really well. A lot of people say it's the number one issue in the world. So it's not something where we can say, well, that is not my business. It's everyone.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That is why we're addressing it. So let's move on to the next topic. You and I have been working a lot because our portfolio, well, at least in the design phase, looks pretty solid and pretty clear. We have our app, we have online courses, and we have our coaching and learning program.
Yeah.
But so now we are moving our attention towards more marketing, and it aligns with what I said in the introduction also about how do we attract an audience? How do we get people interested? So we're really happy that we started working on the presentation, which really, well, is on one hand rather confronting to people, but that is necessary. You need to know what's happening in the world and why it's impacting me as an individual, and how and why I should change. So that's something which we have been working on, but we're really happy because that moves us in the right direction. Because again, one of my meetings where I went was about apps, mobile apps.
Yeah.
And what they said is that there are, at this moment in the world, some 3 million apps.
Yeah.
So now, I don't know how many websites there are in the world, but I assume that is a multiple of 3 million. So again, whether you have an app or a website doesn't guarantee that anyone knows you or is interested in you or visits you.
Yeah, of course.
So you really have to be much more creative, much more differentiating in how you attract. And that's what we'll be doing. We're not going to reveal much more. We're going to keep it a surprise for you guys. Hopefully, Tamas is currently working extremely hard on our website, and we hope it will be ready next week. So you will see it there, because it will be the basis of how we attract people. Also, I had a conversation with two folks actually from my home country, from the Netherlands. Gustav and Natalie. We had a very nice conversation, and we concluded that it seems to be that we're quite very complementary, but at the same time we address a similar target group like students, young people, and so we will continue the conversation and see how we can leverage each other and how they can get our maybe be our main focal point in the Netherlands. So that is really, really nice.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So in addition to so I did go to a lot of meetings this week. I enjoyed myself a lot, but the problem is also for ourselves. Again, it's a life skill. You need to relax, you need to detach a little bit. That is not easy. We've been working all day, and most of the time I was back here in my home at 9 or 10, and then you still have to follow up on a couple of things. But that's part of it because, we really enjoy it and making progress. In one of those meetings, I did meet, it was not intended, but I did meet an investor or at least a person who's very well known in a certain area in the mobile world. And he really would like to continue the conversation because he's extremely interested in our big goal, what we're trying to achieve. Our big goal is to help all these unemployed or underemployed or unengaged young people in the world. That's our goal. That's what we want to do with the new ABC. We want to help them. We see that this problem is getting worse and worse rather than better and better. So that is why this big challenge is what we are addressing, and that attracts attention, I can tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we keep seeing that.
Yeah, and so last night I was with this session called 1776. That's just the name of the challenge.
Okay.
Like I said, 15, 16 pitches there were last night, and it proved to me again that in order to be successful, you need to bridge between what you're doing and a person who never heard about you and why it's interesting to that person. And that's critical. If you're not successful in that, you can have a super product, you can have a super app, you can have whatever, but if nobody understands or has a clue about what you're doing, then nobody will use it. So for me, it was extremely helpful because I imagine sooner or later we will be there pitching, and we have to really make sure that most of these things you only get one chance. You cannot say, it was not so good. Can I do it over in 15 minutes? No, it's just one chance and got to be good. So I'm pretty confident that we can do that. But it's really helpful to see what works and what doesn't work. So I also did meet. There are on these meetings. There are also, I call them scouts. They're kind of people who are looking for people who might be interested for their incubators, for their accelerators, for their investors. So these people are there. They look at people and say, that might be interesting for us. So one of those guys I had a talk with, and he clearly wants to continue the conversation about what we're trying to do. And again, what triggers people is what is the problem, what we are addressing. I said our target group is hundreds of millions of these young people who are really stuck, and that's what we want to help. And that, clearly that attracts attention. It's not just building some kind of a stupid app for whether you will buy more clothes at a certain fashion store. No, it really we try to tackle a serious issue in the world, and that attracts attention, I can tell you. And that that makes it at the same time very rewarding and meaningful that we say, hey, people recognize what we're trying to do. People recognize, hey, it's really, really very good. It's nice what you guys are saying. How can we help, or how can we contribute? So that is really very encouraging, I would say.
Yeah. You give us strength and motivation and grit for continuing this. And again, it's not a small thing. It's a meaningful and a global main challenge. So how we can address that with practical, products and services, simple as that.
Absolutely. So it was an exciting week. I have the feeling that we made a lot of progress, and like like I said, we're now in the phase from working internally, preparing ourselves, whatever, and we're now kind of in this transition where we say, okay, we know what we want, we know what our products are, our website is ready, and now we're ready to what kind of launches and get attention and selling our products, earning some revenue, and that is the phase in which we are now, and that feels pretty exciting at the moment.
Absolutely, yes. We have experimented many things, learned from our failures and learnings, and we iterate on how it's just another step, another milestone, like this TNA Show 10, you know. So
Absolutely.
again, thank you for this week, Arnold, and still glad to continue this collaboration with you. You know, that's what gives me happiness.
I hope next week, Rotana, your health will be better so that you can do more of the talking, because guys, he's just a little bit sick, so that's the reason why he doesn't talk so much. But next week, I assume he will be very excited as ever again.
My energy will be back again, even if I'm still having it right now, you know. But yeah, I let Arnold do the talk more this week, but hopefully we have this webinar tomorrow AM, so join us if you are checking out this show. So it's tomorrow at 10 AM, 10:30 AM CT. Again, we will post the link for joining it via Twitter or any other platform, but there will be other webinars every 2 weeks, so we'll keep you posted on the next topic until the end of this year. Simple as that.
Okay, super. Well, thanks a lot, and looking forward to a very exciting week.
Yeah, same. Au revoir.
Bye.